Good afternoon, colleagues, participants and friends. I regret that I cannot be in Turin with you today to celebrate International Women's Day, but I would like to reflect briefly with you on the challenges we still face to make gender equality a reality for working women around the world. At the ILO's International Training Centre in Turin, we are indeed privileged to be working for an organization that has equality, you could say, in its DNA. The ILO Constitution, adopted more than 90 years ago, states that all human beings, irrespective of race, creed, or sex, have the right to pursue both their material well-being and their spiritual development in conditions of freedom and dignity, of economic security and equal opportunity. As part of the UN family, we welcomed the creation just 2 weeks ago of a new UN agency dedicated to gender equality and the empowerment of women. It is called UN Women. Its executive director, Michelle Bachelet, the former president of Chile, described the new entity as a global champion that can lead UN efforts to translate the hopes of millions of women and girls for a better world. At the launch of the new agency, Ms. Bachelet said, "The UN family should be able to do even better in tapping into women's strength, women's industry, and women's wisdom." The ILO, of course, is to the forefront of responding to this challenge. The Director General, Juan Somavia, has been a consistent and determined voice within the UN system and in other international fora on asserting that gender equality and women's economic empowerment are essential for sustainable development and economic recovery. Indeed, making the crisis recovery work for women is the theme chosen by the ILO for this year's International Women's Day. Today, as we reflect together on our work and commitment to gender equality, we could be discouraged by the enormity of the challenges and the slow pace of progress. Statistics and analysis from around the world show that women are still mainly concentrated in low-paid and insecure employment. They often lack basic social and health protection and do not have adequate access to skills and training, and indeed remain underrepresented in the leadership ranks of labour ministries, employers and workers' organisations. All of these challenges fit squarely within the mission and mandate of the ILO and of the Turin Centre. Therefore, the question of how we can contribute through our training and advocacy work in the Turin Centre to tackling these challenges should be uppermost in all our minds as we go about designing, planning, and delivering our work. Our commitment to gender equality for working women around the world requires that we also look at our own policies and practices. As with all other UN bodies, the Turin Centre has a responsibility to lead by example. Exactly 10 years ago, on the 8th of March 2001, the Centre issued its first gender equality and mainstreaming policy. I am pleased to say that significant progress has been made in key areas since 2001. Interesting recent developments which are contributing to implementing the policy include the process of gender common self-assessment, which all the training programs volunteered to undergo, and also the steps that are being taken by the Centre to adopt an internationally recognized gender marker to measure the gender sensitivity of our work. In other areas, it is clear that further efforts are required. For example, in terms of staffing, the target of 50% of professional posts to be filled by women by 2010 still has not been realised. Today, it stands at around 40%. Also, career development opportunities for general service staff need to be further expanded, as well as better work-life balance policies, which would benefit all staff, both men and women. I believe that it is timely to take stock of developments since 2001, and I will request that this policy be revised and updated during 2011 to reflect the progress that has been made and to address new challenges. While there are different accounts of how the historical origins of International Women's Day, it is widely believed that the day was first designated in the United States further to a garment workers' strike in New York, where women protested at their working conditions. Of course, the working conditions against which these women protested over 100 years ago are still found in too many workplaces today. But it is important to acknowledge that significant progress has been made as women's presence continues to expand into new areas of economic activity. We know that official statistics do not accurately capture the real contribution working women make to development and economic growth across the world in all walks of life and in all capacities. So, in spite of the obstacles, the slow rate of progress, and the many challenges that still remain, today is an opportunity to celebrate women's industry and entrepreneurship, the scientific and cultural creativity, wisdom and leadership in communities and in workplaces, all of which greatly enrich the world and are critical to social stability and economic prosperity. This is the positive message that I would like to leave with you on this International Women's Day. Thank you for listening.